because I genuinely love my audience. He was pretty much the school's Nazi. If you're getting bullied, it's not because they know you, it's because they don't know you. And I can tell you that none of the parents was teaching their children to call me the kid with a shit skin. Power never responds to a want. It always comes from a need. You need to create that need. If you only learn hypnosis to change people and make them do what you want, then you definitely should not learn it. You have no business learning that technique. You will fail.
On this week's episode of The Engaging Marketeer, I'm speaking with Adam Nassor, who is an autistic, hypnotist, magician, business coach. Now, that is a very strange mix of skills, but I'm going to be talking to Adam about how he employs all of those skills within his business and within his journey in BNI, which I am also in. But I'm going to be talking to him quite intently about his time in school when he was the victim of bullying, as I was when I delivered my TEDx talk. You may have seen that on another podcast. He used his hypnotist skills to disarm the bullies. This is a fascinating story, so get ready for this one. Adam, you describe yourself as autistic, hypnotist, magician, business coach, which
yes,
is an eclectic mix, to say the least. Which one of those would you say takes priority in your branding?
Very good question. I would say definitely the hypnotist.
Yeah?
Yeah, because hypnosis is the basis of everything I do. Yes, I did learn magic and mentalism at the age of 6, but hypnosis came to me at the age of 12 when I was bullied because of my autism, and I was outcast, and I was physically and unfortunately also sexually assaulted because of my being different. And the one thing that saved me was actually hypnosis, because it taught me how to read people. It taught me how to actually read between the lines, understand the unconscious. And then I used all the other things, be it magic tricks, be it rhetoric, be it certain conversational techniques, to actually solve my problems. And since that worked, I dedicated my life to the study of that craft.
So in hypnotism, sorry, what age again was it? Sorry, hypnotism you learned. What age was that?
Age 12.
Age 12.
Yes.
That's early for hypnotism.
Yeah.
Were you able to, I say master the craft, were you able to be able to do it at age 12?
Yes.
Wow.
Like I had already some successes with it. I was only using it for conversational purposes, like diffusing situations or getting people less aggressive. And at age 18, I actually learned the show hypnosis part. Like usually people go the other way around where they first learn show hypnosis, right? And at age 18, yes, I was like being able to drop people into deep trances and stuff like that. But before that, it was a very useful tool to get the people who didn't care on my side and get the bullies off my back.
So I find this fascinating now. So you, presumably this was school environment that this was going on.
Yes.
So
Yes.
in school, you were confronted with bullies, probably not very intelligent people, probably older, because they often tend to be, often
Yes.
bigger.
Yes.
Often bullies themselves have been bullied at some point, which is why they tend to lash out at somebody else that they see differently because they're afraid
Yes.
of somebody different. So what technique did you use to diffuse it? Give me a scenario, an example of how that actually worked.
So one of the things that worked tremendously well, because I also at the same time learned a lot of body language, right? And a lot of like reading skills, was finding out, like the best example is, let's call him L, okay? I don't want to reveal his full name. He was pretty much the school's Nazi.
Right.
I can't explain it otherwise. He had a problem with me because of my skin color. He had a problem with me because I didn't speak perfect Bavarian accent, but rather high German. He didn't like that either. And yeah, my father is from Kenya. He didn't like that too. But I realized that the principal of the school I went to was on his side. So you can imagine the ideology of said principal. Because when two white kids were beating each other up, then boys will be boys. When he beat me up and I defend myself, then he's threatening measures because you can't behave like this. So I had no support there, right? So I had to figure out which teacher Al was truly afraid of. And I had learned how to get people to admit the truth and how to get them to a point where their real emotions come out. Because a hypnotist's power is to get emotions up, right? To direct attention and to get people to act with what they truly feel. And I figured out which teacher he was afraid of. I got the teacher on my side because I knew also how to okay, how do you get people on your side, right? How to Win Friends and Influence People is a fantastic book that teaches that. And then we had a conversation. And then in that conversation, I got him to actually admit that he didn't like me because of my skin color and whatnot and things I can't control. And that teacher folded him in half. Like, he was so small after this. And after that, he greeted me every morning with a bow. And I greeted him with a bow back, of course. But from, hey, bad word, fuck you, to good morning, Adam, good morning, Al. I would say that was pretty cool.
And what was the sort of time scale on this? I mean, you presumably... No, let me start again. How quickly did it take you to learn the techniques to be able to do this? And where did you learn them from?
So I learned the first few techniques I learned from several books. The Power of the Unconscious, Dr. Joseph Murphy, NLP for Dummies. It was like a pocket guide, actually. Yeah. Then How to Win Friends and Influence People, Think and Grow Rich. Then Alan and Barbara Pease's books, all on body language. Then there was another rhetoric book. I don't know the author anymore. That was something that my father had at home. And basically those books. And a little bit later down the line, when the internet came to be, I was researching online about hypnosis techniques. Dr. Bob Cassidy taught me a few things there. And basically mostly autodidactic and lots of experience, like trying it out in the real life. And I would say it was over the span of a few months to be able to actually use it proper. And then I started to go heavy. I mean, I had a little advantage because I learned very, very quickly thanks to my autism. But yeah, I would say a few months.
So is this something that you think that anyone listening to this that is being bullied, and there's a lot of people that get bullied every single day, listening, if those books are a good starting point for them to go, do you know what, I could actually read those, learn this for myself, and I could potentially diffuse a situation with bullies in school?
Oh, yeah. I would recommend that every child age 10 and up should actually read those books. Because it will tremendously help you, especially if you have autism or ADHD or something. Because in the end, if you're getting bullied, it's not because they know you, it's because they don't know you. They have a story about you in their mind, and that story doesn't reflect the truth. And so therefore they hate a lie version of you. The techniques help you to bring the truth out and allow people to get to know you for who you really are. And most of the time, that makes good friends.
Yeah, you bully somebody because, you don't know them and you fear what you don't understand.
Exactly.
So that's many reasons we go to war. We fear what we don't understand.
Yep.
And it's
very much so.
It's how a lot of right-wing politics thrives, because you make the population, the public, fear what they don't understand. Oh, there's immigrants coming over here. We don't know what they're like. Let's fear them. Everybody vote for me and I'll stop them coming over here. That's all.
Exactly. But I think all identity politics works exactly the same. This person doesn't agree with my opinion. They are different than me. We need to cancel them. We need to destroy them. We need to dox them. We need to kill them, and so on. It is always the same thing. I mean, that reminds me actually of a very interesting lecture I had when I was studying psychology in uni. And the psychobiology professor told us that racism and all of these things actually comes from biology and our immune system. He said to imagine the world not with the natural country borders, but with germ borders. And when you, for example, live close to each other, the germs are similar enough that when two people here meet, their immune systems will be good with each other and they will complement each other. But if you have too much of a difference, then, for example, somebody from Russia and somebody from Kenya, they have too different of an immune system. And so one illness that is like a sniffles for us could wipe out a whole population over there, which happened during the Spanish Inquisition and the Crusades and stuff. When they were down there with the Aztecs, right? They were wiping them off the face because of a flu, right? So, and he said that subconsciously we know that, and our bodies respond to that. And so subconsciously we don't like who is not like us or doesn't look like us. And as cognitively evolved beings, the same is true for our mind. When we think that they are too different culturally, we reject them because we fear that they are a threat to our society, to our physical health, and so on. Of course, that does not it doesn't excuse the behavior, but it explains it and helps us to be actually wiser with it and take measures to actually fix that problem. And I think left-wing, right-wing politics, both of the extremes are always bad. Doesn't matter what it is. Extremes never lead anywhere.
So I've never thought of it like that. I've always thought racism is something that is inherently taught, that you're not born with it. You don't suddenly, have a hatred of somebody who's different from you. You are taught that belief from somebody else. And it's usually a father or an uncle or a grandfather that passes it down. And if you're not taught it, then you're not going to be racist. But you're saying there's a biological element to that which goes beyond being taught. That's fascinating. That's never occurred to me that could be the case.
Yeah, and I also experienced it exactly like that, because when I was growing up, I was the only kid with brown skin in kindergarten. And I can tell you that none of the parents was teaching their children to call me the kid with the shit skin. None of the parents was teaching that to the child, but they were calling me that anyway. So it is inherently something that if something is too different, you don't like it, you exclude it. It's pure basic human behavior. It's tribalism. If you are too different from the tribe, you are a threat to survival. Like the DNA of a being, of any species, changes maybe every 100 to 200,000 years. We are, like the Homo sapiens doesn't exist for that long. We are still the same Neanderthals, the same cavemen, just with smartphones, like based on our DNA. It's the same thing. So we still think in tribalistic things. That is why the biggest fear in the world is public speaking and not the fear of death. Because public speaking means you don't just get rejected yourself, you don't just die, but your whole reputation gets damaged. That afflicts your children, that afflicts your bloodline. So if you fail in front of others, it could mean that your whole gene pool gets wiped out compared to, like we think back then, right? Like this is all subconscious stuff. So that is why we are so terribly afraid of that. And that's why I think, like, we have to keep that in mind as well when we think about this stuff.
Just bringing up public speaking, it is strange for me to think that people have a fear of public speaking, because there's nothing I like more. To get up in front of an audience and have a microphone and to control that audience and have them hang on what you say. It's just, it's food to me. I love it.
Yes.
And I just don't understand how people can be afraid of that. But I've seen a public speaker do a talk, a lady who's been on my podcast named Kat, and she's gone through how when you were born, you have two inherent fears, which are falling and loud noises. But public speaking, again, is something that you are taught to have a fear of, not something that's biological. But you're saying it's biological to have a fear of public speaking.
More or less, I would say it's a fear of being rejected is the basis for it. Right. And for me, for example, I never ever had a fear of public speaking either. Like, I don't know the feeling of stage fright. I have never had it in my life. But that is because I was a reject and an outcast since kindergarten. People were hating me since then. So there was nothing to add on to it. So when I got the stage and got some attention, I was welcoming it because it couldn't get any worse in the first place. So that's what I would say was the taught aspect of it. And for others, it was different. They were popular. For them, it was a risk. They could lose it, right? And so I had nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
But everything to gain.
Because I had similar experiences in school where I was bullied as well. I don't think to the extreme that you talk about, but it did make me want more attention. I tried to make people laugh, sometimes successfully, sometimes not successfully. But I think that's the reason why I do what I do now, is because I want that attention and I want that adoration, which I wouldn't have got in other ways. Is that similar feel for what you went through?
I would say it's very similar, yes.
Yeah.
It makes us stronger. It always does. Adversity makes us stronger. We never grow from success. Why would we? You have no need to. And that reminds me, I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball Z and a very, very big fan of any kind of anime, right? And in Dragon Ball Z, Goku said, like the main character, right? Power never responds to a want. It always comes from a need. You need to create that need. And that is something that I took to heart.
That's similar to a line in Gladiator.
Really?
Similar to a line in Gladiator, where Marcus Aurelius was trying to hand the emperor's crown to Russell Crowe instead of giving it to his son Commodus, because Commodus was a bad man and should not be emperor. And Russell Crowe said something along the lines of his character Maximus. I don't want this. It shouldn't be me. I'm just a soldier. And he said that is why it must be you, because you don't want it.
Yes. Yes.
He didn't.
That
He didn't
hits
crave
very
it.
hard.
Didn't
Yes.
crave it. Yeah. So this obviously you dealt with the bullies then.
Yes.
And using hypnosis, and there'll be people thinking, wow, he's just going out and he's going out with his hand like that and he's making them do stupid things. But it's a lot subtler than that, obviously. You're changing the way they perceive you. How did you use that skill then as you got older? Because this was kindergarten you're talking about now.
Kindergarten, I didn't use hypnosis yet, but it was like high school, the 5th, 6th grade. Yeah.
6th grade. So as you went through life, how did hypnosis stay with you and you use it use your power for good, shall I say?
The first thing that I did, the first thing that I did was learn how to actually heal with it and help people with it. Because I was obsessed with mastering the craft of persuasion and reading people, understanding people and guiding emotions. Because in the beginning, it was literally a self-defense mechanism because I didn't want to use violence. I'm a martial artist and I like martial arts, but I prefer non-violent ways. And so I was obsessed with how does the mind work? How do emotions work? How do you turn an enemy to a friend? And why would that work so well, right? And so I started to use it for good by teaching the other children that were bullied how that works. And we all know it takes 10,000 hours of mastery, of doing it to mastery, but it only takes 500 hours if you teach. So that also helped me grow quite quickly. And also I used it then when I did the show hypnosis, I always gave them a little hypnotic gift. Like, for example, when I hypnotized, and I never made them do stupid stuff. Like, I don't let people cluck like a chicken. I found it disrespectful to the unconscious mind, and I respect the unconscious too much for that. But whenever I made them, for example, experience things like suddenly they couldn't see a friend anymore, and they were very surprised that the friend was invisible now or something like that, I gave them something powerful, like a better memory. A lot of people actually got straight A's after I worked with them back then because I hypnotized them to have a better memory. And that is actually something that I was in Austrian national TV for, because I created my own system that can give even people without a good memory a nearly photographic one. And so, yeah, stuff like that. Or I taught people how to read people better so they know who they're dealing with. I used it to read, that's something I did a lot. I had a lot of female friends, and they usually had very wrong choices in men. And I was I would say almost 90% accuracy predicting who these people were before I even met them. I just saw a picture. Based on a picture, I knew already what that kind of person was. And they were like, holy shit, how do you know him, right? And I was then teaching them how to read people like that so they don't fall for the wrong people.
Wow. Right. It sounds like really you're classed as a business coach. You should be helping people with life. You should be teaching kids how to solve bullies and get them through school and get them straight A's. You should be teaching dating skills. There's so many things you should be doing. Do you ever feel that you don't have enough time to be able to do all the things that your powers should be giving you time to do?
Oh yeah, I definitely need more hours in the day. I don't have that, and I used to have a hypnosis practice where I did exactly that. I was helping people in their life and stuff, and I still do it to the day. Now I don't advertise it anymore. I only do it on referral, and I only take the heavy cases that nobody else can help anymore. Usually those come to me anyways. In the business, it's the same, but I think it's just a way of how you use your time. And I'm a very faithful man. I'm a Christian. I strongly believe in God and Jesus, and Jesus God, yeah. But basically, I know that He will send me the people that need my help the most. So that is basically how I see it. And I don't turn people down that need my help when I see that they really want it. And if I see that they don't want it, I don't force it on them, because you cannot force anybody to be happy. But I got all these skills for a reason. All the skills I learned are all about persuasion and helping people make good choices in life. Hypnosis, copywriting, high-ticket sales, social media algorithm game, how you actually go viral on a regular basis. All of these skill sets are all about getting people to take certain actions or motivate people to follow a certain emotion. And my mentor, Igor Ledochovsky, who is one of the greatest human beings on this planet, in my opinion, I love this man. He changed my life forever, and he taught me almost everything I know about hypnosis. And he taught me the morals about it as well. He said, persuasion and influence is only about getting people to a state of mind where they can make the best choices for themselves, even if it is against you. And I wholeheartedly believe that.
No, I can see that. Because I've had interviews with hypnotists before on the podcast, and I've had interviews with a lot of sales trainers. And sales trainers often do NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and there's a big crossover between sales, NLP, and hypnotism. Because you are, if you're good at sales and you do it ethically and properly, you are, as you say, you're helping people make the decision, the choice that is best for them. You shouldn't be trying to sell something that somebody doesn't need or doesn't want, because that's not good for them, and at the end, it's not good for you either.
Right.
So, how much has hypnotism helped you with sales? I mean, I kind of know the answer already, but I'd like you to express it into words, I think. How much has it helped you with sales?
Infinitely. Like when I started to first learn high-ticket closing, I learned it from Dan Lok. It was a great training. I really, really enjoyed it. It also changed my life in more ways than one. He really taught me how to sell ethically and powerfully without being a nuisance, without being like a used car salesman, but actually do it on a high level where you really help people. And when I sell people, they always say thank you in the end. I never get the feeling of somebody feeling, oh, why, right? It's always this thank you in the end where you know you did it right. And when I came there and used my hypnosis in the sales calls, because it helps me guide people through problems. Because in the end, if you make a big decision, like a huge, big investment, it is uncomfortable. You're afraid. Yeah. You feel not sure about yourself. And most of the time, people don't buy because they don't trust themselves to succeed. And being able to give themselves confidence and being able to help them guide through the pain, because without pain, you can't sell. But just causing pain for the reason of selling is evil manipulation. But you need to at least show them the pain they have so they realize I need to do something, and then you guide them through it, and then they can make a good decision if they really want this. That is where hypnosis helped me the most.
And I know a lot of salespeople who are, let me reclassify that. I know a lot of people in sales roles, but they are not really salespeople, who are not good at it. And a lot of business owners who cannot sell themselves. They might be fantastic at what they do, genuinely passionate at what they do. I mean, often they're engineers, so they get really intricate in the hows and whys of what they do. But they can't eloquate that to other people in order to sell it. They're bad at growing businesses. They're bad at explaining it. Do you think anybody, like the most introverted engineer, for example, would be able to learn hypnosis and become better at sales, at selling their business?
Depends. I think it is a craft that anybody can learn, but not everybody should.
Oh.
Because it can help you, yes. And of course, there's hypnosis that makes you better at sales, but it was because I implemented it. Like, I didn't take a sales hypnosis course or something, right? And you need a certain passion for it. I would say if you only learn hypnosis to change people and make them do what you want, then you definitely should not learn it. You have no business learning that technique. You will fail. If you are introverted and you want to improve your conversational skills and you want to truly help people, but you constantly get in your own way because your conscious mind is constantly sabotaging you, and you are heavy going on facts and facts and facts and logic, which never sells, and you want to learn how to communicate in a more human way, in a more deep way, to build real relationships with customers, then yes, absolutely.
So what you're saying is, if you're a salesperson that wants to get out there and sell, and smash every target you possibly can for your business, you have no business learning hypnosis whatsoever. Stay away from it.
Yes, exactly.
But it might actually help you. Just don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Because hypnosis is too sacred to be a tool for manipulators. And that is also one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, if I see people talk about dark persuasion, dark hypnosis, which most of the time is bullshit anyway, it's just like common sense rebranded. Like, for example, I saw a dark persuasion video where they said, if you give people food and care for them when they're sick, they will love you. So make sure to cook for them so you can always manipulate them. Oh no, if you cook for people, they like you. Oh my God, I never thought of that. That is why the leaders of our world are cooks and nurses, right? Oh my God, right? Or for example, always tell people the truth. So then one time when you lie, they will believe you. No way! That is the darkest manipulation secret I never thought of. Ugh. I hate these people.
Trump could do with that. Yeah.
He is a very good persuader, I have to tell you that. Like, his technique is spot on.
Well, he flips it the other way, doesn't he? He flips it the other way. Always tell a lie. That way, when you tell the truth, no one will know. No one will know. No one will know. Here's a question.
Yes.
I think I kind of know the answer to this as well, because I found this to be myself. I consider myself quite good at selling.
Yes.
I've never learned hypnosis. I don't know whether I should or not, but I feel myself quite good at selling, because it is about leading people to the right decisions. I find, therefore, I am very easy to sell to. So when I am being confronted with anybody that wants to sell a product or a service to me, if in my mind it makes sense, instant decision. I don't have to think about it. I'll buy it. If somebody upsells me I bought a sofa last year, a sofa, and the guy selling it, I knew he'd had such good training and he sold it in such a good way, the aftercare for the sofa, about if I tip something on it, they'll come out and they'll fix it. He told me all the benefits of that first before he mentioned that was an additional price. So he sold it so perfectly that I clearly, this is what I thought I'm getting, this is what I want. And then he went, oh, by the way, that's an extra £3 a month. Well, I'd be a fool not to have that, wouldn't I? And I even complimented him on the way he sold it and then said, yeah, I'll have that. Do you think, and are you easy to sell to because you understand the selling process yourself?
Yes, I'm extremely easy to sell to, sometimes a bit too easy. Because my mentor also taught me, if you want to be influential, you need to be enjoying being influenced. And if you want to be able to sell, you need to love being sold too, because otherwise you will have a mismatch. Like, it's the same thing as a coach that wants you to invest 10 grand in their coaching, but himself would never pay for any coaching. How is that going to work?
I love that answer. And yet, I've met quite a few business coaches, or again, people who call themselves business coaches, that will not have a business coach themselves, will not invest in coaching. And I even remember one person saying, I don't need business coaching because I've done it all.
That tells you everything you need to know about them, doesn't it?
It absolutely did tell me everything I need to know about them. Yes. And they were in BNI.
Sad. I would say the membership council should have did a little bit deeper check then.
Yeah. Certain people it doesn't really work for.
Yeah.
Let's talk about magic.
Yes.
Let's talk about magic. There's obviously a bit of a crossover between hypnotism and magic, because you're putting on a performance, you're leading people to a decision which may or may not be right in terms of magic, because they're thinking one thing's happening when something else is happening. What first got you interested in magic?
That was at age 6. My father actually did magic tricks for me at my birthday party.
Oh, and was he skilled at magic, or did he learn just for your birthday?
No, he was very skilled. Like, I'm not sure if he learned it for my birthday, but he always brought me magic tricks. Like, he used to travel a lot. It was back then when we still had a good relationship, but he used to travel a lot, and he always brought me gifts, and it was usually magic tricks. And I loved the ability. Like, I always was obsessed with superpowers. He always told me great stories, like, of superpowers or of magical heroes and stuff like that. And I always wanted to be able to do magic. And once I learned the magic tricks, I loved it. And I realized, even if people didn't like me, once I showed them some magic, they had the spirit of wonder. And suddenly they were a little bit more open. So it was like a door to a magical world where the rejection disappeared for a while. Or sometimes could even be flipped around. And then I realized, once I started to learn hypnosis and NLP, I realized that the same principles that make mentalism and magic work actually are the same principles in hypnosis, because I always was obsessed with being very efficient. I didn't want to learn 1,000 techniques. I wanted to have one technique that always works. Because that is what I didn't like about body language, why I created my own reading system for people. Because if somebody crosses their arms, it can mean they don't believe you. It can mean they don't like you. It can mean they're cold. It can mean that the woman has a bigger chest and she needs it to support it. You don't know. It is way too much interpretation. I needed things that were guaranteed. And then I realized that mentalism, like the so acting as if you can read people and acting as you can predict the future and stuff like that, those skills are actually transferable in real life. Like if I can vanish a coin, cool stuff, but this is not a life skill. But if I'm able to read people, that helps me anywhere else too.
What was your first magic trick that you learned?
That's a very good question. I think it was the teleporting coins. Like we have this coin thing here,
From one
and
hand
then
to
you
the
can
other hand?
bang them, and then they come out the other side. Like this is like a little thing where you see like a stack of coins,
Yeah.
and you put them in a little box, and you put them here, and somebody else puts their hand on it, and then you do this, and suddenly the stack of coins is here, even though they had it in their own hand, and they see it vanish in their hands. It's a pretty cool trick. And then I had a few card tricks as well, but my favorites were always like the self-working, like mind-reading prediction tricks. And they're always, at any given point in time, I always have a magic trick ready. There's like never a point in time where somebody asks me, show me something, I can't show them something.
Yeah. I go to Liverpool football because I've got hospitality tickets. And quite
Nice.
often in one of the lounges, they will have a magician there. And it's usually 2 or 3 magicians that alternate. And I've been shown the same trick probably about a dozen times now over the last couple of years, where he will pick 6 or 7 people in a row, and he will show them all a card, and he will do them all one by one in a row, showing the cards out. And sometimes they're in his pocket, sometimes they're on the floor, sometimes they're in your hand already, and I have no idea how he does it. Not a freaking clue. And I know he's going to do the exact same trick, and I am watching him like a hawk, and I still cannot fathom how the hell he does that. How does he do it?
A magician never tells his tricks,
yes.
not the tricks of somebody else either. But I know how he does it. I did the trick as well. It's really
Do you know
fun.
how he does? Oh, son of a gun. Does that mean you're in the magic circle?
I'm not part of it, but I used to be part of the magic circle in Linz when I was living there. But now in Vienna, I'm not part of a magic circle right now. But I used to be.
And you're not allowed to tell anybody. Okay, all right, fine.
Nope.
In terms of, say, famous magicians, I've seen Penn and Teller in Las Vegas.
Oh, I love them. I met them live. They were great.
Yeah. Ooh. And I've seen, what's that really famous magician?
David Copperfield?
David Copperfield. I saw David Copperfield in Las Vegas as well, where
You lucky man.
the lights went out and he materialized a spaceship in the theater.
Amazing.
And it's like, how the fuck did that get in here? It's just the most ridiculous thing possible.
Yes.
So in terms of famous magicians, stage magicians, what's your favorite and possibly favorite trick you've seen as well?
David Copperfield when he started to fly and took somebody from the audience and flew with them through the room, because I always wanted to be able to fly. That was one of my biggest dreams ever. And when I saw that, I was absolutely captivated. I still think of that. My first big hero and idol was Peter Pan, right? And so I always wanted it. And I loved about David Copperfield that he had this childlike curiosity and wonder about his magic. He was not just there to impress people. Like, for example, that is why I don't like Chris Angel. Chris Angel is just a poser. He is just like, also he pays people to react to his tricks. Like, this is not magic. Magic is the whole show. Like, if you eliminate the show and the wonder, then you are just repeating a mechanism. This is ridiculous, right? So that makes no sense. He perverted magic. And it was just a narcissism fest. So like, look how cool I am. But David Copperfield, you could literally see this love for things go through it. And like, I like what I learned from him watching him is I literally convince myself when I do a magic trick that I'm doing actual magic. Like, I'm literally surprised by the trick myself when I see myself do it. And I love it every time. And every time I can give people this childlike wonder, this spark in their eyes, it's the best feeling.
You mentioned flying then and wanting to be like Peter Pan, and earlier on you mentioned superpower. I was going to ask you, if you had a superpower, what would it be? I suspect it's flying.
Not anymore, actually.
Not anymore.
It used to be. Yeah. It used to be. But there are so many different superpowers nowadays that would be great. I used to also invent my own superpowers, right? But one of the most amazing superpowers that I could imagine is stopping time and having just more time to do things, right? But the superpower I imagined back then is not just stopping time, but while time stops, I can experiment with everything. Like, for example, time is stopped, and then I can experiment what happens if I say this, and then I see the reaction. And when I let time resume, it's like nothing ever happened. And so I know upfront what happens. Like, I can experiment, I can experience many different things at the same time. Stuff like that would be great. Or the power to heal would be fantastic. That's also something that I would really like. But I would not ask for the power to read minds, because I already can do that. Like, I can already read people very, very well. Not the same thing as true mind reading, but yeah, things that actually truly make life better, but still require you to master it. Like, I would never wish for omnipotence, right? Like, a lot of people say, oh, omnipotence is the best superpower. I can do whatever I want. No. I want something that has severe limitations. I want something that forces me to be creative, that forces me to stay grounded and not abuse it. I don't want a superpower that makes me feel like God, because that would be a blasphemy. I don't want that. I want something that is actually multi-usable in any kind of way. Imagine I can stop time and experiment things and do whatever I want. Then I can say, okay, if this person would tell me the truth about what they feel, what would it be? Okay, this is what they really struggle with. Okay, what would really, really help them? Okay, this would it be. Okay, cool. Then I resume time and I can give them life-changing advice, for example, right? And I can really improve their life. That would be great.
So that's like a cross between Hiro Nakamura from Heroes, who could stop time.
Yes.
And Doctor Strange, who can see multiple timelines. So you could stop the time, see the multiple timelines, see which is the best one, and then take that action.
Yes, that is a very, very good example. Yes, exactly.
That's two very, very powerful superpowers in one there you want. I think it's a little bit cheating, but I'll let you away with that one.
A little bit, but I mean, the downside is that nothing I do while time is stopped actually happens in real life. Like, even if I punch somebody while the time is stopped, that has never happened once it resumes.
Safe zone, sandbox effect.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about business coaching then. So that's primarily what you do, I believe. Yes. Just checking. So what kind of people do you do that for? What sort of businesses?
Most of the time, it is solopreneurs, like coaches, trainers, and therapists. And most of the time, these people are so good, as you said, they're engineers. They are so good at their job, they cannot explain it anymore because their brain is so technical in their craft, they literally have no ability to explain it beyond, because they are afraid of not being precise enough or to be technical enough, but that doesn't convince anybody. This is called the curse of knowledge. They forgot what it is like to not have all the knowledge they have. And so it's like when I start to talk about like intricate things about hypnosis, you have never learned hypnosis, you would be completely confused by the middle of whatever I'm talking about, right? Like when I say, you know what, actually we could do a Dr. Unconscious run on somebody when you have a Days of Wonder regression. This is very, very life-changing, but only if you have implemented a sanctuary first. And usually the Dave Elman induction would be a great start for it, which I usually don't use anymore because there's a different opener, a different deepener that works better. What am I talking about? Right? And no one cares how you do it. If I told you I can do a rain dance around you, and if I turn my head 3 times, then you will make $1 million, and you make the $1 million, you don't care if I use hypnosis or mentalism or copywriting or which technique I use. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is, does the client know that you understand them? And you need to over-deliver. Every single client that I work with, I tell them, what is the maximum you can give your clients without robbing yourself? What is the maximum you can give while still being profitable? Because I absolutely despise the businesses who are giving the bare minimum for extreme amounts of cash. There are so many coaches out there that charge like 10 grand. They don't give a guarantee. They don't have bonuses. They don't have like personal assistants. They just sell knowledge for 10 grand in a day, where like even ChatGPT, even though it's not that good of an AI anymore, can give you most of the knowledge. It's just a scam. And I want to make people, my big vision as a business coach in this case is I want to flood the market with powerful experts that are great at what they do and care about their clients. Because right now, the charlatans have good marketing and are loud. I will be the grand equalizer. And once it's equalized and the good ones have the same marketing, then they win by skill. And the charlatans cannot live up to the standard that the common public expects anymore.
Do you know, I was literally talking about that problem in a one-to-one about 2 hours ago, about businesses or people that are not very good at what they do, but they have great marketing. So they come across and they get the industry saturation. Companies like, be careful what I say now, Budweiser, the beer.
Yeah.
Absolute shit beer, but their marketing is phenomenal. So they're the biggest beer in America. Every supermarket seems to have a whole aisle dedicated to Bud Light, even though it tastes like gnat's piss. It's not even got the flavour of gnat's piss. It's not even that good. Yet it's saturated. There's a company advertised on TV here in the UK, which is phone systems, video phone systems, called Hi.
Okay, I never heard of them.
In the UK, they're all over the telly. Shit. They're compared with all the other alternatives, they're shit. Yet they're the ones everybody knows because they've got the saturation, they've got the branding, they've got the advertising. If you're going to get a phone system for your business, well, I've heard of those. Absolute crap. And it's really disappointing for businesses that are genuinely good at what they do when you've got these crap brands with great marketing. It's people like us, it's marketing agencies like us that are doing that are doing this problem, which is why we want to work with people who are good at what they do. Like you just said, it's about finding people who are good at what they do and giving them the voice, giving them the power, because that's the kind of thing that you should be doing as a marketer, as a business coach, as a hypnotist, doing good to get the right people to get their voice out there, not the people who are shit to saturate. And I've just had a bit of a rant. I don't know why I did that. Sorry about that.
No, I love what you said. I couldn't agree more. And I love your Bud Light example because they had the biggest downfall ever. They're not even in the top 4 of America's beer anymore.
Really?
Because they completely fell down. It was the most glorious downfall because they had this new marketing exec straight from Howard or wherever she was from. And she literally said, oh yeah, our current audience, they're too fratty. And they started a campaign with trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney. And the number 1 target audience for Bud Light was literally the rednecks and the more conservative people. And she said, if you don't like the marketing, then you're basically a racist and we don't want you anymore. And she tried to market to the 0.1% of the market that doesn't even buy the beer. So she tried to be progressive, and Bud Light fell so heavy from grace that the supermarkets were turning away the Bud Light representatives because they were not selling anymore. Like the Bud Light was not given there anymore. And if I'm correct, we can do a quick fact check on this. It is still not even in the top 4 anymore.
Wow.
Because of that marketing, because they literally violated their own audience. And of course, ideology, everybody can believe whatever they want. But if you are part of a multi-billion-dollar company and you don't know your audience and you think that your small little bubble of thoughts is more powerful than millions of people that give you billions of dollars, you are delusional. You need to focus on who you serve first. If you don't serve people the right way, you will fall. We don't live in the times anymore where somebody can be too big to fail. We live in times where all the power is back in the hands of the people over social media like TikTok, Instagram, and so on. More TikTok, actually. It's like the most subscribed platform and the highest engagement platform right now, even above Instagram, and by a good amount. It literally can shape elections. Like, I think Trump even said that 30% of his votes came from TikTok. So, therefore, don't underestimate that people aren't stupid. They don't take lightly anymore. We are in times now where people care more about who you are than what you offer. Boycotting like this, no problem. Say one wrong thing. Somebody cancels you online and your career is over.
Cost themselves the redneck racist dollar.
Exactly. And that was billions of dollars, right? Yeah. And I mean, of course, said lady that was the marketing lead, of course, is not there anymore. But the thing is, what even was worse, the CEO was trying a public apology, and it was basically a narcissism apology of like, I'm sorry you feel that way, and not an actual apology. And so it made it even worse, right? And so it was the talk of the town for months. and it didn't stop. It actually was so bad that Dylan Mulvaney fled the country for a while. Like, it was that bad. And that's why do your research first. That is also, since you asked, right, what I do for my clients first is research, deep research, 10 to 30 pages of psychographical analysis. It doesn't matter what you sell if you don't know the psychological buildup of the people that you have. And I do something called reverse engineered research, where I first look at the offer that they have, the problem they can solve, because there's a buyer for everything now. And then I work backwards from the product. And then I find the psychology of the people who would buy it. And that usually gets like a 99% accuracy in the actual avatar. I say 80% should be the average, but it never was below that anyway. And when you understand your target audience and you truly are obsessed with serving them right, then you're doing your job right. And so that's also why I overhaul their offers. Because if you only sell time for money, you don't have an offer. No. Oh yeah, I sell them an hour of my time. It's $100 an hour. This is not an offer. Everybody can sell time. Yeah, but I help them to transform their life. What does this mean? You know what that means. Nobody else does, right? So be specific. I could say, oh, I help trainers, coaches, and therapists make more business. Everybody does that. I say, hey, listen, I do exactly 4 things with trainers, coaches, and therapists. Number 1, I change their offer to be irresistible, meaning they have a structure that when the right audience sees it, says, I need you. And I do it with my proprietary processes, my Sherlock research, and so on. Nobody cares about the process, right? So I would be too technical. So I say, second, I make sure that you get in front of the right people. I have a very specific process how you can reach your target audience on TikTok, even if they're not there. It's the only platform where that is possible. So I get you the visibility that you need. I help you sell your offer properly. I train you on how to sell it in a way that is ethical, non-sleazy, and makes people truly trust you. And afterwards, I also make sure that people come back to you. Those 4 steps I go with you. I do this by writing the scripts for you. You don't have to worry about it yourself. The only thing you need to do is record what I say, tell people what I tell you in your pitches, and the rest, what you do is just that. You focus on your core business. All the words you need come from me. I have the best words. I have all the words. I give you the best words. I have studied the words. I give the most persuasive words. Stuff like that.
I need to edit the title of this podcast and add impressionist in there as well. That's really interesting because a lot of business coaches I speak to, firstly, they don't like to use the word business coach.
Right.
Because that pigeonholes them. But they also find it very difficult to explain what they do and how they help people. And I find a lot, certainly in BNI, for example, a lot of BNI members don't know how to help the business coach because they don't know how to introduce them or how to refer them because they don't really understand what they do or how they help clients. It sounds like that's what you help coaches with to help them to get that clarity across.
Yes.
How easy is it to get a business coach to buy into that when, as we've already established, some coaches think that they know everything anyway?
That is a very good question. I would say it is very easy if you know your target audience well. My motto that I always say is, if you tell them their problem and what they tried before they tell you, there is zero resistance. And I have actually tried that. I have spoken to like dozens, like I think 50, 60 business coaches in a span of several weeks because another BNI member actually helped me like reach out to them. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give you a review of your business in exchange for an honest review on LinkedIn if you were happy with what I told you, right? And I started it every time. I told them first, okay, let me guess. You love what you do, you're very passionate, you're very good at what you do, but for some reason, no matter what you try to do marketing, it doesn't work, right? They were like, yes. Okay, let me guess. You take about 2 to 3 hours for a social media post on Instagram, you get 3 likes, one of which is your mom. Did you stalk me? And also, you hate that, you know that you need it, you don't have the money for a big marketing agency, and you want to do it yourself at the one time because you think that nobody gets it like you do, but you also don't want to do it yourself because you have better things to do. Yes! And let me guess, you also took some courses, some masterminds, and some stuff that all promised you the world, but in the end, you were left alone. You still had to implement it yourself, and you didn't do it. Great. Let me fix that. Completely different angle.
Wow. I love that. And I love as well when I'm recording these podcasts and I hear something and I think, that's going in a clip.
Thank you.
That's definitely going in a clip. So I can see, for those who aren't watching the video on this, those that are listening, I can see behind you, you've got a load of B&I certificates on the wall over there. So I'm taking it B&I is something that is working well for you in your business.
I love BNI a lot. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made to join the network because BNI is by far the best way to make friends and have money as a side effect. Because
nice.
Yeah. Because BNI is all about relationship building. You cannot make business and you cannot do business without relationships. It is not possible. And especially nowadays time. And what I got in connections, in advice, in genuine help when I needed it and I couldn't do it otherwise from BNI, like I could talk about this for hours. And I love having the network. Like, for example, I have a gig now where I work with a client on sales, right? And one of their clients was scammed by her former boss out of 21 grand. And she wanted to invest in this program, but she couldn't because she was lacking the money. I could refer her to a lawyer in her area that could help her. This is amazing.
Yeah, that is a big thing about BNI, the fact that you can help people because you have the connections. I often get people come straight to me and ask me, can you recommend someone that can do this? Because they know I'm the person that can actually recommend them, which you feel great doing because you're able to help them. You're also able to pass a referral to somebody else and able to help their business. So you're getting the dopamine impact of helping two separate people. And you get a referral for it and you get points on the traffic lights as well, which is quite nice. So
Win-win-win.
How long have you been in BNI yourself now?
In total, it's coming up to my fourth year. Yeah, to my fourth year. I was from 2018 to 2020 back then as a hypnotherapist. And then I rejoined in 2024 until now as a business coach. I mean, officially, my profession in BNI is now copywriter because most of what I do is write the scripts for my clients, right? But unlike other copywriters, I actually give them all the research on top and I coach them on how to use the scripts I give them, which is why my clients usually get like 4 times their results. Like one of my clients is exploding on TikTok now. I told him in 3 months you will get your leads from TikTok, give or take, and you will go viral. Until then, it never took longer than that. And yeah, he is exactly in the time frame exploding, like 100,000 of views, and people are actually reaching out to him now, which is pretty cool.
Well, we've only got a few minutes left, and I think you have touched on that already. I know it's gone, hasn't it? It's gone.
Yes.
You have touched on that earlier in the podcast. I wanted to ask you, you've mentioned it again about, I think you said consistently going viral. You talked about earlier on. How?
Yes.
How?
A magician never gives us tricks. No, I'm just joking. This is not magic. No, I will tell how I do it. Yeah. It's actually very simple. If you want, I can give you a link later where I did an explanation. Like I have a YouTube video where I explain it. I'm very willing to give it away.
We can share that in the description so people can click on that and go straight to that YouTube video. That's fantastic. We'll do that, definitely, yeah.
Perfect. So how I do it is this. I lean on what Jeff Bezos said. Don't worry on what things will change. Worry on what will not change. So what does a social media platform always want? Will they ever want less users? No. Will they ever want less watch time? No. Will they ever want less shares? No, because they want as many people on the platform for as long as possible so I can show them as many ads as possible and make as much money as possible. So you need to optimize for watch time and shareability, always. But how do you do that, right? One of the things that I use, I call it the multi-hook technique, where I have 4 different types of hooks that gather the attention. The first one is a hook that is usually with a white box, which I call it the white hook, is above your head in the upper third of the screen, which gives you a general idea of what the video is about. The second hook is in the caption, the description under the video, that is a direct reference to what you say later in the video. So it should never be watch this until the end. It's horrible. It should also not repeat the first hook that you see. The third top is the verbal hook, which should feel like you're in the middle of a conversation with a friend. It should feel like they literally stumbled into a FaceTime call. And the fourth one is the visual hook, like some movement or something that is like capturing attention, like a fancy jacket or something. And those 4 hooks capture attention. You buy yourself like 3 or 4 seconds. And then you need to give them relevance. You need to give good content. How do you do that? One of 3 things needs to happen. Number 1, either you give them something they can immediately implement. Like me giving this formula right now is immediately usable. They can immediately check if their hooks are good. Number 2, it needs to give them a mindset shift so they think differently about the problem. Because free content is not meant to be educational. You cannot change somebody's life in 15 seconds. You cannot teach them what you know in that time. But you can make them feel that the problem can be solved. You can make them feel enriched or a little bit more competent. And number 3, you give them an emotional boost, be it nostalgia or fun or happiness. And if you allow me to share the screen, I can actually show you what I mean by giving you an example of my own TikTok channel, because I'm a very big fan of proving what I say, because everybody can talk, but actually proving what you say is a little bit harder, is it?
It can be, yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Then I will show you several accounts where I have done this with. So let me start with this one. This is my own account that I have started 1 year ago. You can see my screen?
Oh, yes, yeah.
So look at this. Like, for example, this video has over almost 600,000 views, right? This one that I did recently is 227,000, and the effort for that video was 15 seconds. I actually made that video while I was on a call with one of my clients trying to prove a point. I told her it does not matter what you say, you just need to have this, and then it's possible. So look at this. Seriously, tell me, how is this possible, guys? What does this tell you about the video? Like when you read this with that emoji, what do you expect?
That you're going to tell us something that we don't think can be done. It's something that
right?
I need to know, yeah.
Yes. Now you read that and dancing. And what do you think now the video is probably about?
That there's going to be some sort of dance going on in there as well.
Maybe. And now look at my facial expression. What's that facial expression say?
You look confused or in disbelief about what you're about to tell us.
Right? And say, what is wrong with Kenyans, right? So you see, those are the 4 things you see immediately. Also, a man wearing a bonnet, which is very unusual because most of the time it's the women in Kenya wearing the bonnet.
Yeah.
Right? So you see a lot of unusual things here. Now, let's see what happens in the video. It was just a video praising the Kenyans because they are my audience. I love them. I love my audience deeply. And I wanted to give them, like, it was a genuine thought that I had. It's like, you guys are amazing. Like, you have perfect coexistence between the religions there. You don't have Muslims and Christians fighting there. My own Kenyan girlfriend is amazing, and I just wanted to give them appreciation. It went hyper viral. Or here, look at this, right? 100,000 views. I did this a few days ago. Look at this. Kenya, what is going on here? This is seriously baffling. We have the same thing, same principle. And they love commenting on it. And that is the power of this whole thing, right? It's all about relatability. They see themselves in it. They want to engage. I never say, follow me, please comment and subscribe. I don't say any of that. It is not necessary. Because if people see themselves in your content, they will come by themselves. But that needs deep research. I did very deep research. And I'm lucky that my girlfriend is Kenyan, so she tells me how they feel. And I want to give them a good experience. I want them to feel happy when they see my content. I want them to feel uplifted. Because I genuinely love my audience.
And is that the same principle? I mean, we are almost out of time now. Is that the same principle for long-form content as well? Is that something that you do?
Yes, I don't do long-form content myself, but the principles are exactly the same. Only for long-form content, you need way more. Like for long-form YouTube content, you would need to focus exclusively on the first 30 seconds because those first 30 seconds decide everything. And for long-form content, you need like in the first 30 seconds, a visual change every 1.4 seconds, for example. And you need to like give over the stakes. You have to hype it up. You have to make a really good thumbnail. And I feel that the effort that needs to go in a long form content needs a full-blown team or a full-time job effort. While I get the same result, like I get on my TikTok videos, I get more views than some people have views on their YouTube channels, like even successful like YouTubers with thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. I get more views on my videos than they do on their channel. Like, and I get like 10 seconds effort. And I don't say this to show like how great I am. I'm just trying to make people see TikTok is the place to be. It gives you, it doesn't matter how big or small you are. Even Instagram doesn't do that. Instagram cares about your followers and it suppresses you. You can do everything right. Like one of my clients has 100,000 views on a TikTok video that gets 2,000 views on Instagram. It is the same video, the same audience. You can do everything right and you get suppressed. It's bollocks, right? So go to TikTok, use the power it has there to reach the people that you care about and serve them there properly. Because on TikTok, magic tip, they don't care about the content, they care about the idea. So if you see somebody do something nice, like Dr. Julie, for example, has fantastic visual metaphors, you can use the concept of visual metaphors for your own business. It will work regardless. Because TikTok cares, are people uplifted? Are they happy? Are they getting entertained in the right way? And you learn as an expert to get the point across in 15 seconds instead of rambling on for 30 minutes and nobody understands what you do, right? It's great.
I love it. Yes, because TikTok wants people to stay on the platform going video, 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 video. And its algorithm is phenomenal because it will give you what you want. It very quickly learns what you want and what you watch.
Yes. It's fantastic. Best platform ever.
Right. We are out of time now, Adam. So anyone that's listening to this thinking you are a fascinating person, I need to learn more about you, I need to speak to you, I need to work with you, or I need to have a BNI one-to-one with you, what is the best way for them to reach out to you?
The best way is to contact me on LinkedIn because I'm not super active there, but I do check it. I used to post every day on this, but right now I'm so busy that I don't post there right now. But LinkedIn is a great way because they also see a little bit of what my takes are. I have a lot of valuable content there. My LinkedIn articles are like, I made sure they are timeless so they can get people some actual value that they can immediately implement. So in case, even if I should be too busy for like some proper help, or if I right now can't make a call work or something, they can at least get some value out of it. And I always try to take time as much as I can. Right now, I'm literally up until from 7, sometimes 5 a.m. in the morning until like 11 p.m. in the evening, usually back to back. But I will always make sure to take time to give them at least a review, or if it's just like 2 minutes or 3 minutes of a voice message, just some feedback on their content or something, or their website. I will always try to help.
Okay, fantastic. I will put the link to your LinkedIn profile in the podcast show notes and in the description of the YouTube video. So anybody that wants to go straight through and connect with you on LinkedIn, they can click on that. Adam, thank you very much for being a guest on the podcast.
Thank you, Darren, for having me. It was a pleasure.